All right, let's turn back to our financial expert, Andrew Poulos, answering your most pressing money questions this afternoon. Andrew, Jennifer wants to know, I am an independent contractor and filed for my PPP loan this morning with my bank. We were just talking about this Paycheck Protection Program loan.
Yeah.
She says that I have all the requested documents, but how will I prove my 75% payroll for loan forgiveness through copies of invoices to my clients? Should she still put this through?
Well, at this point, she needs to check with the bank if she's submitted it to see whether it's gone through to SBA or whether it's a work in process. If it's a work in process, she's not going to get anywhere, as millions of other small businesses are probably not going to get anywhere either until Congress allocates some more funds. If she's in the system and approved, then that's a different story. But right now, I would encourage her first to check before she starts spending too much time on something she's not going to get through to.
How does she prove the 75% payroll for loan forgiveness?
The 75% for loan forgiveness is based on payroll. So if she doesn't have any payroll, then and she's an independent contractor, would be whatever she pays herself. The other 25% can be used to pay any rents that her business has, or lease agreements, or utilities.
Sandy wants to know, are 1099 workers eligible for both the federal pandemic unemployment assistance funds and Georgia state benefits?
No, independent contractors, self-employed, gig workers, freelancers, all those folks in that demographic are only entitled to receive unemployment for the $600 a week, which is coming from the federal government, from federal DOL, not state. If you're not a W-2 employee for an employer, you're never entitled to state benefits, and this is no different. So it's all going to be based on what you get from the federal DOL portion of it.
Okay. Carlos wants to know, I'm a caregiver for my daughter who is undergoing chemotherapy and considered high risk by her doctor. I'm also caring for my mother-in-law who is 91. I had to leave work, take family and medical leave. Do I qualify for unemployment?
You can't. You don't qualify for unemployment while you're on medical and family leave. So while you're receiving those funds from your employer, you can't collect unemployment. But once those get exhausted, if you don't go back to work, then you might be entitled to be able to file for unemployment.
Okay. Our next question. My husband and I filed joint tax returns. He owes back child support from a previous marriage, but I don't. Do I still get my portion of the stimulus check for me and our children?
So what we do know is that the stimulus check is going to be issued to on a married couple. The check's going to be issued with both names on a check, or if it's direct deposit, it's going to go into the bank account that the IRS has on file. If it's going to be offset for back child support, my best guess right now is that they're going to take the full amount, and they're not going to be able systematically to distinguish that $1,200 is for one spouse and $1,200 belongs to the other spouse at this point. So I would say that the full $2,400 or whatever the amount is going to be is probably going to go towards the back child support.
Jean wants to know, I had to pay additional federal taxes last year. I filed my taxes electronically, but mailed my owed tax by check on the 15th. Is this considered a paper file?
No, paper file is when you truly mail off a paper tax return to the IRS. If the return's been filed electronically, then that's processed electronically. Subsequent to that, when the IRS receives the payment, they should process it and post it to that tax year.
All right, that's simple enough. Carla asked, if my 16-year-old twins file taxes, will we still receive the $500 stimulus checks if we still claim them as dependents?
No, not on this one. So if children are 16 or younger and they're on the parent's tax return as dependents, then they are on the parent's return as dependent. They're not going to qualify for themselves for the $500. So if the parents are going to qualify for the stimulus, then they're going to also qualify for that $500. If the parents don't qualify based on adjusted gross income, then they're not getting anything for the children either.
Okay. Frank asks, my unemployment already lapsed. Does the extension add more payments for me?
It should, but I would probably tell Frank he needs to check with the Labor Department. I have a suspicion that he's probably going to need to file a new claim to get more unemployment at this point if it's already lapsed.
All right. And Lisa wants to know, I worked at the stadium part-time, but I also have another part-time job, which I'm still working. Am I eligible for unemployment for my part-time stadium job?
Yeah, she should be able to collect unemployment on her part-time stadium job. I would encourage her to reach out to her employer who's later off from that part-time job to see if they have filed for her. If they have not, then she would file on her own.
Yeah. Arthur Blank also setting up a fund for stadium workers. Not sure if that is only for full-time workers, but that's something to look into as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, Andrew Poulos, financial expert, thank you again for lending your expertise.
Thank
I know
you.
you'll be back for Up Late tonight at 11, so we'll see you then.